Good afternoon. It's Thursday, the 21st of May. I'm Erin Viner, and this is IBA News broadcasting from Jerusalem. The international community has begun to pressure Israel just days after the establishment of a new government. Visiting the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini brought that message with her, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded by publicly supporting a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Here with all the latest is IBA's diplomatic correspondent, Ellie Wogelenter.
The French magazine Le Figaro is reporting that if a two-state solution is not reached within the next 18 months of talks, France will announce it is officially recognizing the state of Palestine. This pressure from France is part of an overall European offensive meant to restart negotiations with the Palestinians. In a meeting with EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini, Prime Minister Netanyahu renewed his commitment to a two-state solution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict after backtracking on that pledge during the heated election campaign in March.
Over the last few weeks, we've taken some concrete, tangible steps to benefit the Palestinian population. We've taken economic steps, added measures for reconstruction and development, and ensuring ongoing humanitarian support. We'll continue with those practical steps, but at the same time, we'll continue to work towards peace. Israel wants peace. I want peace. We want a peace that would end the conflict once and for all. My position has not changed. I don't support a one-state solution. I don't believe that's a solution at all. I support the vision of two states for two peoples, a demilitarized Palestinian state that recognizes the Jewish state. And I look forward to discussing with you how we can advance that vision forward in a practical, secure, and responsible way.
Mogherini told Netanyahu that she accepted his commitment to restart the talks, being in the interest not only of Israel and the Palestinians, but in Europe's interest as well.
It is really an honor for me to be here in Jerusalem again, to be here for the first time in this place. I take it as a sign of friendship, as it should be, as Europe and Israel have a long history, share a long history, long friendship, a partnership. And it's not only the past that unites us, but also a vision, a future, as you said. I believe your recommitment tonight to work on peace and security, first of all for Israel, but also for the rest of the region, is what also unites us. The European Union is interested in peace and security for Israel, for the region, because this is also our European peace and security. So we have a common interest there to see if we have a space for relaunching the vision you just mentioned of two states for two people being able to live in full respect, one at the side of the other, in full respect and with a perspective of peace and security for all.
Mogherini met today with President Reuven Rivlin, who told her of the importance of the role that Europe plays in trying to bring the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians to an end, and he made a point of stressing Netanyahu's commitment to a two-state solution.
What the Prime Minister had to say yesterday, the whole people of Israel have heard that, and the whole world have heard that, and we know and we have heard what you have to say, and we know the sensitivity of the relationship between Israel and Europe, not only between governments and between the Union and the Israeli government, but between the people from all around the free world towards the people of Israel. Appreciation and some criticism. And we would like to let everyone understand that we are ready, really, and not ready, we are anxious to bring to an end this tragedy, but we know very well that the only way to do that, with the help of everyone that is really sincere about giving a hand in order to bring to an end this conflict, has to be decided by both people, by the Palestinians, and they have to be united about that idea that we have to live side by side and to bring to an end the conflict. And we appreciate very much what you are doing in order to let everyone understand that it is the goal of the whole free world to bring to an end this conflict. I would like only to emphasize to the whole world and to Europe that, of course, and it's obvious and it's almost obvious that we don't have to say so, but the obvious should be said from time to time. We have no war with Islam. There is no conflict between the Islamic world and the Jewish world. We have a conflict between at the time, between the Arabs and the Israelis, and now we have the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and we are welcoming you once again because you know, we know that you are a real important role that could bring us to build confidence.
Mogherini began her visit to the region with a meeting yesterday with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. The two discussed the issue of the intra-Palestinian unity deal between his Fatah movement and Hamas and how to restart peace talks. Abbas told Mogherini that although he was committed to the peace process, there would be no talks until Israel freezes settlement construction, releases Palestinian political prisoners, and agrees to a Palestinian state based on the 1967 borders. Mogherini also met with Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat, who welcomed the top EU diplomat and called on Israel to stop settlement expansion in the West Bank and release Palestinian prisoners.
The President expressed his appreciation for everything that Madam Mogherini and the European Union are doing in order to revive the peace process, hoping that we can see to it that all sides respect and honor their obligations emanating from agreement signed. And we hope that the Israeli government will stop its settlement activities, honor its commitments. Instead of choosing the path of dictations, they should choose the path of negotiations by honoring their commitments to stop settlement activities and to release the prisoners. So again, once again, re-engage on the negotiations of achieving the two-state solution where the state of Palestine can live side by side in peace and security with the state of Israel on the 1967 lines.
Mogherini's mission has ended, but the international pressure is sure to grow in the coming days and weeks. Erin?
Thanks for that report. And in other news, FIFA President Sepp Blatter is continuing his efforts to work out a compromise resolution to the dispute over security restrictions placed on Palestinian soccer players. Blatter has held meetings with Prime Minister Netanyahu and Palestinian leaders, including PA Football Association Chairman Jibril Rajoub, who insists on pursuing his demand that Israel be suspended from the International Football Association.
We are convinced that the most FIFA members share our views of the situation and will support our proposal in the adequate manner because racism is one of the gravest dangers that football faces at the present time.
I have asked some solutions to the Prime Minister, and he agreed that there should be a working group with, or a third-party working group with a representative of the authorities of Israel and the representative of the authorities of Palestine and the representative of the authorities of FIFA. And this group should meet monthly, even monthly, to analyze and monitor the situation, which has already been put into place in the past years, especially to facilitate the movements of football people and goods.
Reuters sports reporter Ori Lewis told IBA's Eli Wogelenter that FIFA doesn't want the Palestinian-Israeli conflict to be used as a political football, and he does not believe that Israel will be suspended next week's vote on the matter.
Well, what we're seeing here is that Sepp Blatter has come to Israel and to the Palestinian territories to try to work out a deal so that the Palestinian proposal to get Israel suspended from FIFA isn't put to a vote at the Congress next week. It's very important from FIFA's terms that it isn't really put to a vote because Blatter himself doesn't want FIFA to be used as a political playground. He said so himself, as he did last night.
Is this unprecedented to kick a country out?
Not at all. There have been many cases where countries have been suspended from FIFA, but it's usually been because the countries have broken FIFA statutes, not because of political involvement outside. In other words, FIFA statutes state that if a government gets involved in soccer affairs, then the country is automatically suspended. But in this case, Blatter and FIFA have said that Israel has not broken any of their statutes.
Your guess then, your estimation is that Israel will not be suspended?
It's very difficult to say. Well, I think Israel will not be suspended because I don't think that the bottom line, Palestinians will be able to have enough votes. They need almost 160 out of 209 in order to get Israel suspended. A three-quarters majority at the Congress. It's a bit more complicated than that, but in actual fact, it doesn't look as if they have enough votes. But they would probably get a pretty sizable majority, and I think that nobody in Israel nor FIFA wants that to be put on the table because it would put Israel in a very bad light.
Clashes erupted between security forces and masked stone-throwing Palestinian residents of the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Jebel Mukaber during a raid on the home of the Palestinian terrorist who was shot dead yesterday after he deliberately rammed his car into a group of border police in the Tour intersection on the Mount of Olives. The body of 41-year-old Amran Abu Daim has been returned to his family for burial. Two of the wounded officers were released from the Hadassah Medical Center in Ein Karam after being treated for light wounds that they sustained in the attack, and the female soldier remains at the Sharet Zedek Hospital after sustaining moderate injuries, where she says that she's hoping for a full speedy recovery so that she can return to her police duties as quickly as possible. In another deadly day in the nation's roads, 3 men in their 30s were killed and 3 others injured in a serious accident near the Lehavim junction in northern Negev. Security camera footage captured the moment that the front side of an empty passenger bus crashed into a private Jeep as another private car rammed into a traffic sign. 3 passengers in the Jeep were killed on the spot, and the 40-year-old driver was taken to the nearby Soroka Hospital in critical condition, along with the 50-year-old bus driver, who was also critically injured. The 70-year-old driver of the car that hit the sign was also treated at the hospital for light injuries. Police were forced to close down Route 40 for several hours in both directions, causing major traffic congestion throughout the Negev. Lehavim has been the site of several accidents in recent months and is considered to be a particularly dangerous intersection. Nearly a year after he was first questioned in connection to the Harpaz affair, the investigation against Cabinet Secretary Avichai Mandelblit has been closed without an indictment. Attorney General Yehuda Weinstein made the decision after citing the lack of sufficient evidence. Mandelblit was suspected of obstructing procedures while serving as the head of the IDF legal division when he allegedly failed to notify the Attorney General that he was aware that then IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gabi Ashkenazi had the so-called Harpaz document in his possession. The incident centered around an alleged 2010 plot by IDF Lieutenant Colonel Boaz Harpaz to undermine the candidacy of General Yoav Gallant, who was at the time the Defense Minister Ehud Barak's choice to succeed Ashkenazi as the Army's Chief of Staff. Islamic State forces are now reportedly in control of over half of Syria in their series of advances in the Arab Republic, Iraq, and other areas of the Middle East. The latest conquest includes the ancient city of Palmyra, giving rise to deep concern that the radical Islamist zealots will destroy priceless antiquities at the site. We get more in this report from IBA's R.A. O'Sullivan.
ISIS fighters sweeping through the Syrian city of Palmyra. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights say that Islamic State forces have seized the historic city, also known as Tadmor, and over 100 Syrian armed forces and civilians were killed in the battles. Government forces collapsed and ISIS rebels commandeered their tanks. Damascus acknowledged it lost the city. While taking the town, ISIS also overran the notorious Tadmor prison, where thousands of Syrian dissidents have been tortured over the years. Most were transferred beforehand. Reports say that a few remained behind and were freed. They took out their revenge on a poster of Syrian President Bashar Assad. Palmyra was once a major Roman-era city amid a desert oasis. Its opulent structures, including a splendid theater and colonnades, have survived for over 2,000 years, and it is one of the best-preserved ancient sites in the world. Many fear Islamic State fundamentalists will destroy it, as it has other ancient sites in their wake, since it represents a pre-Muhammad pagan era. Before the city fell, Syrian government officials removed as many of the statues and artifacts as they could to safe locations. But the structures of the UNESCO World Heritage Site remain. UNESCO has called for a ceasefire in Palmyra in order to protect the site.
We may have different beliefs, we may have different views, but we have to protect such incredible vestiges of human history. And I would appeal indeed that destroying heritage will not achieve anything. Destroying such heritage does not mean that you achieve some kind of a victory over your enemy. You don't convince other people that you are right. And I would appeal strongly to all sides once again to review strategies, to review their military actions, and to protect and preserve Palmyra.
The fall of Palmyra comes just days after the Islamic State seized Ramadi in neighboring Iraq and amid significant gains by Islamic State across the Levant. Dr. Mordechai Kedar told IBA that ISIS is tightening its grip around Assad as Syria crumbles.
Because those jihadists will be so much encouraged by this victory in the Kalamun, but not only, Jisr Shurur as well. And they are marching to the west, to the city of Latakia, in order to have access to the sea and to start fastening the grip on the Alawis, whom will be slaughtered if they fall into the hands of these jihadists, because those Alawis are not even Muslims, they are infidels.
With momentum behind them, Islamic State is moving westward. The question remains, what will be the response by Assad and the West to save the ruins of an ancient civilization? Ari O'Sullivan for IBA News.
The Pentagon has approved the sale of nearly $2 billion in advanced weaponry to Israel. The deal still needs to be approved by Congress. It includes dozens of massive BLU-113 bunker busters capable of penetrating layers of concrete up to 10 meters thick, as well as another 4,000 smaller versions of the weapon and 14,500 JDAM smart bomb kits. U.S. Defense Security Cooperation Agency officials say that the package also includes 3,000 helicopter-launched Hellfire missiles meant to replenish Air Force ordnance. During Operation Protective Edge, Washington suspended transfer of those missiles over disapproval of Israeli strikes against Hamas-controlled Gaza. A Pentagon statement about the latest sale reiterated America's commitment to Israel's security, adding that the shipment won't affect the regional balance of power. Israel Radio cited Israeli security officials as saying that the sale has no connection to the nuclear agreement currently being worked out with Iran. In local finance, both the shekel and share prices on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange put in mixed performances again today. Here's a look at the afternoon numbers. Turning to the weather, which should be absolutely gorgeous tomorrow. We can expect clear skies and another slight drop in temperatures. Here's the forecast at home and abroad over the next 24 hours. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow at 4, when I'll be back to bring you the latest breaking news from Israel. We now leave you with more of the King of Joy, Israel's Eurovision song entry, Golden Boy. I'm Erin Viner, urging you not to forget to cast your own votes and wishing you a wonderful evening and shalom from Jerusalem.